Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You are knowing what you are wanting? Yes. You like that feeling of desire? Yes. It's a good thing, isn't it? Yes. You came into this environment specifically to discern your personal and important preferences, and once you figure it out, and it isn't hard, is it? Because when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So once you have an idea, once you've launched that vibrational rocket of desire, everything in the universe moves forward to assist you in the having of it. But there is something that is necessary for you to be the receiver of it, and by the receiver of it we mean the interpreter of the vibration that leads you down the path of non-resistance toward the fulfillment of that. Did you get that? Because you live in a vibrational universe, you are a vibrational being, and when you launch these very heartfelt, very sincere, very personal rockets of desire about what matters to you, Source hears and everything moves into place in order to fulfill your desire. So the fulfillment of your desire happens on a vibrational level immediately, but sometimes it takes you a while to move away from beliefs, which are just habits of thought, they're practiced vibration, toward vibrations that match. In other words, you can't want something and doubt it. But let's say that in the real, authentic, law-based, vibrational way. You can't hold a vibration of desire and at the same time a vibration of doubt about the same thing. By a vibration of doubt, what we mean is a thought that causes you to feel doubt, a thought that is uncomfortable when you think it. Because a thought about what you want always feels comfortable when you think it. When you are moving down the path of least resistance, which is the path of most allowance, to a vibrational stance or practiced behavior, practiced state of vibrational flow that holds you consistently in a vibrational pattern of allowing what you want, then you are in what we want to call the receiving mode. You are in the receptive mode. You are in the mode where that thought can turn to the thing you want. That vibration can turn to the thought you want. That thought can turn to the word you want. That word can turn to the exposure, to the experience, to the evolution of the desire, until you have a full-blown manifestation of what you want. We want you to understand that there are manifestations all along the way, that vibration itself is a manifestation, while it's so subtle that you are usually not perceiving it. But once that vibration that you are holding, or that combination of vibrations that you're holding, once you've held them long enough that they begin by law of attraction to gain enough momentum that you begin to feel an emotion around them, that emotion is a manifestation of a practiced vibration, you see. Sometimes people say, oh, I worry about all my subconscious thoughts that may be hindering me from what I want. And we say, there are no subconscious thoughts that are hindering you from what you want. They are too small. They are too small to be players in your experience. But if a vibration is large enough, if a vibration has enough momentum, if a belief that you hold has enough momentum and matches the desire that you hold, you will feel the manifestation of positive emotion. And if that vibration, that belief about the subject of your desire is contrary to it, then you will feel the manifestation that we are calling the emotion that is negative emotion. In other words, your emotions are your guidance system, and what they are guiding you about is your path of least resistance, your path to your alignment, your path to your fulfillment, your path to your connection, your path to your wholeness, your path to who you really are. You are so much more than these physical bodies that you have dragged here. You are so much more. You were vibration, you were consciousness, you were source energy before you got here, and you still are. That non-physical part of you still exists and is giving you feedback all the time. Feedback meaning a vibrational offering about who you now are, who you now really are. That larger part of you, since it still exists and still is offering a clear signal, can be felt by you through your emotions. Because when you're on the wavelength of that clear signal, you feel the flow, you feel the connection, you feel the wholeness, the fullness, what you might call love, what we like to call appreciation. But when you get all balled up in beliefs that contradict who you really are and what you really know, then you feel your departure is too strong a word. You feel your diversion, you feel your resistance, you feel your not going with the flow of who you really are. So then you might want to ask yourself, well, if I'm not going with the flow of who I really am, what flow am I going with? And we say, whatever flow you've consistently been giving your attention to. So while we are here together today, there are some things that we want to help you to realize in the clearest fashion that you have ever found. And that is, we want you to leave here with a sense of who you really are and what it feels like to be in complete alignment, alliance, harmonics with who you really are. We want to awaken within you a keen awareness of your own guidance system. We want you to understand that your emotions guide you to what we consider to be the most important concept of everything that we teach here, and that is the path of least resistance. For a while we called this gathering the science of deliberate creation, but you got weird about it. You worried about your thoughts, you tried to suck them back, you'd think something or say something, cancel, trying to get it back before law of attraction gets hold of it and brings you something you don't want. And so we want to put the emphasis not upon what you're doing. We want to put the emphasis upon the basis of how you feel. Because if you can get a handle on taking the path of least resistance, which means the path of the thoughts that feels the best early on, then what happens is you join forces with the whole of who you are. You offer a vibrational signal that is irrefutable, that is undeniable, that brings about harmonics of this universe in a fashion that few of you are yet to understand and very few of you are yet to experience on an ongoing basis, while every single one of you could do it today if you can hear what we're going to give to you today. You create your own reality, and the way you do that is by offering a vibration. And you offer your vibration by the attention that you give to things. You have been so interested in being objective, in weighing the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. And there is some advantage to that because it helps you to carve out clarity about what you want. But once you have defined what you want, if you could just decide that you are going to give your attention to what you want and spend no time defending anything, so that your path is this clear path, then you'll have it. And we're going to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it until you get it, until you know it, until you own it, until you are it. And your guidance system will let you know from this point forward whether you are it, whether you are R-ing it in the moment, or whether you aren't R-ing it in the moment. In other words, you'll be able to tell whether you're in sync with who you really are or not. So, path of least resistance, sometimes, especially to those who want to control you, doesn't sound like such a good idea, because they have taken some benefit by you not following your own guidance system about what's better for you. They like you to respond to the peer group pressure, or to the employer pressure, or to the mate pressure, or to the relationship pressure, or to some sort of pressure. They want you, most everyone do, you do too, you want people to behave the way you need them to behave so that you can feel good. And if you've got someone in your life who is not behaving the way you need them to behave in order for you to feel good, we know that you spend quite a bit of time thinking about that person and their bad behavior and giving them the credit for why you don't feel good. I would feel so much better if you would be different than you are. The problem with that is you can't control the way they are. So you give up all of your power and all of your alignment in the futile attempt to control something that has never been and will never be any of your business. Everybody gets to choose their path of least resistance. And the thing that's tricky about that is that it feels to you like you would like to choose your path of least resistance, but they should also choose your path of least resistance. And we say, that's not how it works. You got to get to this place where you're really going to let them choose their path of least resistance. So until you do that, you're just bumping up against this and bumping up against this. And we say to you, we love you so much. But what we notice is that you're living such conditional lives. If this condition would change, then I'll feel good, you say. Or if that condition would change, then I'll feel good. But you can't control the conditions. So you get all balled up in this futile conversation with people up close to you and people on television, with the whole world, that if they would just be different, you would feel better. And what we want you to understand, Esther said the other day, I keep catching these 4-second glimpses where I can see a world where each one of us really is following our path of least resistance. And in doing so, we're lined up with all that we are. So we are in confidence and clarity and love. And then from that vibrational stance, law of attraction matches us up with somebody else who in that moment, not forever, not having always been there, and maybe not will ever be there, but in this moment is a vibrational match to that too. And we have this wonderful, albeit temporary, ride together. And then off I keep going on my path of least resistance, and off they keep going on their path of least resistance. But so often you're not looking for the confident, secure, eternal, ongoing connection with who you really are. You're looking for the approval from somebody else. Do you like what I did? Do you like how I feel about this? Do you agree with me? Esther would say to Jerry, I really want to talk about this. I really want to know what you think. And Jerry would say, I don't think you really want to know what I think. I think you just want me to agree with what you think. And Esther would say, no, it couldn't be that. But it was exactly that. It was exactly that. Because it is sort of satisfying to have somebody who agrees with you, who validates you, who says, yes, I have weighed all of the pros and cons of the injustices that you have just lived with that person, and I agree completely that you are right and they are wrong. And you say, it is so good that you feel that way. But the problem with that is, if you can catch them, if you can entice them into your little needy web, and if they will go along with you in that little needy web, both of you have diverted your path from who you really are, and now you really do need each other to commiserate, because you have temporarily disconnected yourself from all of the resources of who you really are. And we just want to point out to you, you could get a whole lot of people agreeing with you about a whole lot of things, and it's still puny and paltry in comparison with your connection to who you really are. So you really don't want to give up your connection to who you really are for some agreement that is temporary and maybe not even real. They're probably just afraid of you. Afraid of the repercussions that they get from you if you don't agree with them. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sure you're right about that. I'm sure you're exactly right about that. I agree with you completely. Sometimes they've discovered it's the only way they can get you to stop talking about what's bothering you. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. Yeah. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right.